Hey, Cleaning Nation, welcome to our Ask Me Anything Facebook Live. We do for those of you on the podcast, we do the Facebook Lives once a week. And most of the time there's a theme, but every now and again, Lindsay just does an Ask Me Anything. For those of you that are on the podcast, if you want to see Lindsay's bangs, they're fantastic and they're only available on the YouTube channel. My hair is, you're probably fine on the podcast. If you want Lindsay's hair, she's really rocking it today. So you might check out the YouTube. I'm guessing the dudes are like, why would I care? And the ladies are like, oh, I want to see Lindsay in bangs. So ladies, welcome to the YouTube channel where you're looking at, and gentlemen, hang out on the podcast. We'll do that. All right. Today's Ask Me Anything. If you want to ever participate, support at growmycleaningcompany.com, join the Facebook group and ask there. Let's get this party started, lady.
All right. First question up is, how does Lindsay style her amazing bangs? Well,
I'm an expert. I start answering.
Just had to say that. Okay, no. Real start. Madeline emailed in. Do I really need an LLC to start my cleaning company? Is it that important in order to start?
All right, good question. So first and foremost, I'm not trying to be like a legal disclaimer, just being a fair disclaimer of like, hey, let me tell you what I'm good at. Let me tell you what I'm not good at. And I don't want to act like I know everything about everything, because my wife can attest that is not the case. Lindsay can attest that is not the case. So obviously not a lawyer, can't give I could give legal advice, but it wouldn't be worth nothing. So this is more just me being in business and having lots and lots of LLCs and different corporate structures over the last 30 years because I'm old. So yeah, that's a legal question as to, do you need an LLC? Couldn't tell you, talk to a lawyer, but I'll give you my experience and feedback. So LLC just stands for Limited Liability Corporation. There's really two benefits from my perspective. One is the limited liability, right? If I have some money, which I do, and I start a business cleaning something and I burn down Lindsay's house and I have liability insurance. If I don't have liability insurance, we got a problem. But if I have liability insurance, the homeowner, Lindsay, and my liability insurance might come to me personally and go, hey man, I noticed you got a bunch of money over there and I think you should kick in to pay for this house that you burned down, because me and the company are the same, right? If I had a limited liability corporation, we'd be separate. My personal liability would be limited, right? If Lindsay sued me, generally, and if I did something like illegal or intentionally burned it down, all bets are off. But just something bad happens in the regular course of business, and Lindsay sues my company, my personal assets are protected. So a lot of you guys and gals, I shouldn't say a lot, some of you don't have a lot of assets. So it's not as important, because if you don't have a bunch of assets, if you don't have a lot of liability you're trying to protect, you're like, come get me. I ain't got nothing. You can't scare me. I'm homeless. Right. So then the limited, so that's really the liability piece. The second side is from a tax piece. Certain things that are expenses personally, you can expense to your business and save a little bit of money on. And that could be a little easier, cleaner if you have a corporation. So to answer your question, do I need a corporation or limited liability or some sort of corporate structure to begin? No. If you just start cleaning, you are a sole proprietorship. That's what you are. You don't have to file for it. Like, I'm electing to be a sole proprietor. It's like, yeah, we know you're in business. You haven't done anything different. You're a sole proprietor. So yes, I like LLCs. I have several for this business we have here is an LLC. So yeah, I think they're a great idea, but a lot of people think the biggest issue I see when people are starting, they're like, I got my bank account, I got an LLC, I got an EIN, I picked my company colors, I got a logo, I got some business cards, I built my website, like a bunch of stuff that's really not a big deal. I shouldn't say big deal, but they think they're like working and building a company. It's like, well, you're working. So yeah, some sort of corporate structure that makes sense for your tax and liability situation is a good idea. But is it like the number one thing that you should do? No. Is it the thing that's going to be like, oh yeah, if you form an LLC, you're likely to be 26% more profitable? Like, nope, pretty much the same. It's like, should I have insurance? Yeah, you should probably have insurance. So my business will be successful, I have insurance. No, not at all. It has nothing to do with that. But if you have a problem, you'll be gosh darn glad you have insurance. So kind of same with the LLC. It's a great idea, but it's not going to make you more money, or it's not really doing business. It's doing paperwork, right? Should I file my taxes? Absolutely. Is it going to make you more successful in business? Not particularly, but in that you'll be more successful if you're not in jail, but in and of itself, filing the taxes is not, it's just something you got to do. So hopefully that was helpful. I know Lindsay, why do you got to start with the boring questions? Give the people what they want. Get to the bangs.
Hey, it's a commonly asked question.
It
So,
is, but so boring. You know, I hate boring things. I'm gonna make you
all
answer the
right.
next MLC question.
All right, let's see here. Next up, Dana Cherie, love that name, from Facebook said, I would love to know what platform you use to automate reminder emails, text to cleaner applicants prior to their first interview. She's excited to be stepping into recurring weekly interviews.
Cool. Well, Dana, it's a great question. And in that we don't own I don't own a cleaning company currently, right? I've owned a cleaning company, don't now. We own a coaching company. So what we use to communicate with our clients wouldn't be what would make sense for you guys. The big thing I want to give you is people really, okay, we're kind of now we're starting a theme. So I think they overvalue LLCs. If I had an LLC, then I'd be magic. Or 1099 versus W2. Like, which software should I use? Same thing. And it's a lot of marketing. And this software is like, we're amazing. If you get us, you'll be a billionaire. And they have a bunch of success stories that we're probably going to be successful with or without the software, but they happen to use the software. So kind of like the whole, I'm 6 foot and 50 years old and 230 pounds, and I can buy all the Michael Jordan shoes I want. I'm not going to be dunking anytime soon, but we still buy Michael Jordan because we want to. So I think we kind of get that with the software. We're like, if I get the right software, then I'll be successful. So I want to encourage you, Dana, and the rest of the audience. Should you have an automation software to kind of give your clients reminders and text and all? Of course you should. That's a great idea. But the which one? There's plenty out there. Like Jobber is good. I think ZenMate. There's a lot of good stuff. So don't get too fired up and I got to find the perfect software because that's not what's going to make you rich. Do you want some sort of automation to communicate with you? Of course you do. But most of the time people have like 2 bids a month and they're worried about which software to manage them. It's like, let's get you some more gosh darn bids and then we can figure out what software to use it. Or I've got 18 clients. Like, you could just text them yourself. You don't need a software. So, sincerely, Dana, if there was a standalone software, it's like, this is the best, head and shoulders, we would just promote that or sponsor them or whatever, have them sponsor us. But there's lots of them. Many people are happy. There's not even one that I'm aware of that's like, oh, that one's terrible. Don't use that. So if there's a really bad one, we'd tell you. If there's a really good one, we'd tell you. But the truth is, as long as you have one that you like that's reasonably priced, it does a good job. No automation and texting and reminding bad. Any software that does a good job that you like that's not too expensive is fine. Don't get too fired up on, I got to find the perfect software. Doesn't exist.
Yeah, I was just going to add too, since I deal with this all the time in our company, it's like different softwares that they're all competitive now. So if you have like three that you can't choose between, I always tell people just pick one and try it. They're probably a similar price, do a similar thing. And if you hate it after a month, just switch. Like it's
Switch. Yeah.
nothing, no big deal.
The thing is, they're all pretty good. So
Yeah.
if you hate it after a month and you pick another one, there's a good chance you'll like or dislike that one 5% better or worse, but it's not like that one sucked and this one's great. Because again, we're not trying to be cagey. If there was one that was the best, we would just tell you, hey guys, use that one. It's just not the case. So yeah, I would rather, the only wrong answer is to be like, I'm going to spend 27 hours getting to the bottom of it. And maybe you do, and you find the one that's 6.5% better than the rest that you had a 1 in 3 chance of picking anyway. But it took you 20 hours, just not the best way to use your time. So pick one that you like. Again, Jobber is good for a lot of stuff. That's probably most of our clients use. Maybe ZenMade, made sense. There's a bunch of them. Pick one you like. No big deal.
Yeah, totally agree with you on that one, Mike. All right. So next up, we have Stephanie Lee. She left an Facebook comment. Similar vibe. She said, what program should I be using to track my income expenses for my business? Like QuickBooks? I need to learn my margin values and I don't know how to do this.
So fun. I just spent 10 minutes ranting about, doesn't matter which software you use, pick anyone. And this one, I'm like, the definitive answer is QuickBooks. So actually, so when it comes to scheduling software, they're all great. When it comes to QuickBooks, the only reason QuickBooks is the definitive answer is there's a bunch of them out there. The big thing is it's just, if you're trying to get an accountant to use it, everybody gets QuickBooks and everybody's up to speed on it. But if you want to use Xero or some weird thing, it'd be like me and Lindsay working together and I want to send her an invoice. I'm like, I'll just fax it over. What's your fax number? She'd be like, what are you talking about? Like, it's not that faxes don't work. It's just that she'd be like, I don't even know what you mean. Right. Or can you send me a cassette tape of that? Like, why don't I just Slack it to you? So QuickBooks is that, right? It's what we all just use QuickBooks. Everyone has it. So it's not that the other things don't work or they're bad. It's just that I don't say nobody uses them, but not QuickBooks is like faxing someone as opposed to just, emailing it or even texting it to them. So QuickBooks is great. But what she said, which is more important, frankly, is I need to learn my margins. I don't know how to do that. Two separate things. So QuickBooks is a great tool to help you keep your data straight. Really important. It will not tell you what data is important or how to make decisions with that data. That's a much more important skill. So I would probably, this is gonna kind of tangential rant here, Lindsay. My least favorite thing, guys, gals, is all right. So your accountants are terrible. I've been doing this for a decade, and for 9 years, it feels like we would just tell people, get with your accountants. I do videos for the client and just be like, just have your accountant watch this and they'll do it. These goddamn accountants are so dumb, or they didn't understand, and they're just the worst. So I'm fighting with these people with some $20, and they'll say crazy things like, I have to ask my accountant if I can afford that. I'm going to talk to and these accountants know nothing, right? So please, 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 just like at the beginning, I go, I'm really good at business, but ask me how to form an LLC in your state. I'm like, I don't know. Talk to someone smart, right? Because I have the humility to know what I know what I don't know. Accountants get a lot of them, they act like they know crap about business. 1 in 1,000 knows anything about business. 1 in 10 know anything about accounting. Like most of them are like, they don't even understand the difference between cash and accrual accounting, or couldn't articulate the difference between a P&L and a balance sheet. So the reason I'm getting so feisty about this is most accountants can't explain to you what your key numbers are or how to move them. And half of them can't even account. They can't even make good counts. So QuickBooks is a good tool to give you the reporting, but you want a coach or someone smarter that really knows. I'd really rather, someone that really understands day-to-day bookkeeping. So you don't want like the details about double entry ledger and all that stuff. You just need to know, like, I'll just shoot it straight for you for a cleaning company. And this is different for different businesses, but for cleaning companies, you got to know your sales. Got to know your cost of goods sold, what it costs to provide the service. Direct costs would be another way to say that. And you got to know your overhead, or indirect costs would be a way to say that. And you got to know, if you take your sales minus your cost of goods sold minus your overhead, that's your profit. And you want to know that too. That plus you want to make sure you understand the difference between cash and accrual basis, which I can't get into this in this thing. It's really all you need to know. So QuickBooks is great, but make sure, more importantly than having the right data, is knowing what data is important and how to take that data and turn it into action. And you need not an accountant. You need a person that knows business to help you with that information. Even CPAs, by the way. CPA just stands for Certified Public Accountant. All that means is they're qualified to file your taxes. Ask me to file your taxes or how to file your taxes. I'm going to tell you I have no clue, because it's so much work and the government code is insane. And I don't know any. I know a little bit, but nothing close. I can't legally do it. I can't morally do it. I'm terrible. And yet sometimes CPAs are like, I know everything about business. And it's like, do you? Be very careful with accountants and CPAs. CPAs listen to about taxes. Good accountants listen to about how to get the reports correct, but only talk to business people about how to interpret those numbers, which is really the important thing we're looking at. All right. That was a complete rant. Our poor friend, who's at Dana, that asked us, like, I didn't want any of that. I just want to. So, all right. Ask me the question one more time, Lindsay.
What platform?
QuickBooks.
Yes.
That was what I should have done at the beginning. QuickBooks. Next question.
QuickBooks. I swear I didn't set that up for you to be like telling people.
No, that was more interesting. I wish you had. I like that setup. I'm like, God dang it. I just spent 10 minutes saying, pick a software, any software. And then you ask the next question, like, QuickBooks, only QuickBooks. Mike Campion here. Do you ever listen to the podcast and go, this is great information, I just wish I could actually get it implemented, and I wish I could get some help? Well, we do that. If you would like either myself or my team's help actually coming up with a plan that's specialized to you and your business, because with these podcasts, obviously we have to be very general and we can only go 20 minutes at a time. If you'd like to jump on a call with myself or my team, go to growmycleaningcompany.com/talk. We'll jump on a call. There's no charge, and we'll help you get some absolute clarity around exactly what to do next and how to do it. The reason we don't charge for these calls is the plan that we come up with, people want help implementing that. If that's the case, we're happy to talk about it. And if it's not, that's okay too. We're happy to just help you come up with a plan. So if you want to translate the information you're learning here into an actual plan that can change your life, give us a ring, growmycleaningcompany.com/talk. Love to either myself or have one of our coaches walk you through and actually personalize the content you get here to where you're at with your business. Talk soon.
The next one, Mike, I had to take 2 separate posts because they were so similar and I combined them into one.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, so it's a scenario about stealing. So the gist of it is that a longtime
So
client,
against stealing would be against. I say don't steal. Is that the question? Should we steal or how much? Because I would say no stealing if possible.
not the question,
Right.
but good, but duly noted. Okay, here's the scenario. I'm
Well, it
gonna
depends. How much stuff are we talking? Like, is it good stuff? No. Lindsay's like, I just want to do my job and go home, dude. Could you please just focus for 10 seconds? And the answer is no, Lindsay. I cannot and I shall not focus for 10
I know
seconds.
these things. I know. I know. All right, I'm gonna set up the scenario. Okay, here we go. So
I'm going to interrupt. Begin.
all right, good to know. A longtime client calls the cleaning owner, right? They say they're pretty sure the cleaning company employee that was at their house stole something, but they can't prove it. They don't want to file a police report because they can't prove anything, but they're going to cancel. All right. So, what the cleaning company owner does is bring it up with the accused employee. I don't have details about how they brought it up, but of course, the employee denied it. They're like, I didn't steal anything. So, Mike, should the owner fire the employee without proof and not take any risk? Should they closely monitor the employee? Like, what do you advise in these kind of weird, iffy situations?
Gosh, but this is super squishy. So again, I like being a business owner, kind of a black and white thinker. I like when it's like the answer is 7, like just definitively do this.
QuickBooks.
This, yeah, QuickBooks. Thank you. It was right there. How did I miss it, Lindsay? Thank you. You had to remind me. It was right there, Mike. You missed it. So I like clear, concise. This is the right answer. This is not that. This is someone who's owned a cleaning company and had lots of employees that were in a position that could have. I've been where you're at. So it's just someone with a little bit of experience sharing his experience, and the goal is more for you to take that and be like, all right, I'll take that into consideration and go forward. So more than anything, with instead of talking about very specifically to this specific scenario, which I'll answer, I just want to give you the philosophy of how I'd look at both relationships, both mine with the employee and mine with the client, and how to kind of think about that, or how I've thought about that that's been helpful. And then you can use that, take the parts of that you feel are useful and ignore the parts that are cockamamie, which may be all of it. So when it comes to the customer, I'm just going to be straight up, right? Like, I got to be honest, Lindsay, we love our, and tell the truth. If I've got someone sketchy, I'm not going to start saying, oh, I know Lindsay, I'd swear by her if I feel like, yeah, I think she's sketchy too. So obviously I'm not going to have people that I think are sketchy, but there might be people that have been with me for years, and there might be people that are fairly new. So I'm just going to try and get to the bottom of it with Lindsay. Like, got it. You think this client employee stole something. Of course, I'll ask them. Got to be honest. Either she didn't steal anything, in which case she's going to say, I didn't steal anything, or she's a thief, in which case she'll probably lie. Fair? Like, I'm not trying, you see, I'm not being defensive. Like, how dare you? Lindsay's a saint. I'd be like, just trying to work through it with him. Right. So, and I'd honestly just give my opinion. Like, I know Lindsay pretty well. I would be shocked. Or Stephanie's a newer employee. Obviously we want to hire if we thought she was any risk. If you do background checks, which is a whole different story for a different day, you can say I did a background check, showed up nothing. I don't think that's really going to help. Stephanie's newer. So, we wouldn't hire anyone we thought was bad, but just as you can't definitively say she did, I can't definitively say she didn't. We just, neither of us have the data. So I'll talk to her. We've got obviously we're insured. So if you want me to file a claim, we can talk about that. Insurance is probably going to say the same thing as you are. Well, you got to prove, she did it. So if you want to quit, you have every right, but either you're just going to stop having cleaners, which is, the least risk, or you're going to get another cleaner. And, if we did something where we're hiring convicts or people that used to steal or doing something irresponsible, we have 2 people in the house all the time. I'll talk to both of them. So if you're knee jerk, because I'm just going to fire them, I guess you could kind of make me sad. We can make sure Stephanie doesn't come back here. And if I don't think she's a fit, I'm going to not let her go anywhere. But if I think she's a fit, we'll keep going. But honestly, if you're going to fire us and just have someone else, I think it's a bit random in that person is no more or less likely to steal than our next person. I can definitely take Stephanie off of it. But if you're just so angry, even though there's really no proof either way, that'd be like me getting angry and quitting because you mentioned, I don't have any proof, but I saw it. I'm like, screw you. How dare you accuse my person? I'm like, well, that's not right. You're just saying what happened. So I think I'm very confident we can do as good or better of a job. without anything ever getting stolen. I've been doing this for 8 years. We've never had that, or we've had 2 accusations and neither of those people with us, but I don't think we did either. But just, I'm just going to kind of take down the temperature. And she's like, screw you, I got to quit. Okay. Like, so be it. But I'm just going to help her understand, like, if we don't, I can get you don't want Stephanie back, but whether I give you somebody different or someone else gives you somebody different, like if there's something we did that you're like, that specific thing was irresponsible, and I don't want you to be my fine, but that's not the case. And then I'm just going to go to Stephanie and talk to her. And if I've got a gut feeling she's no good, or she's not someone I trust to be in a house, I'm going to let her go. And again, I'm not a lawyer. Is that legal? Or I don't know. It depends on I don't know. I'm just telling you what I would do as a business owner. And if I talked to Stephanie and it felt good, probably gonna let her stick. And if I'm not sure, I hate to say it, I'm probably gonna let her go, just because the unintended consequences, if that happened in Lindsay's house and then now I go put Stephanie and Suzanne's house and something's missing, well, now I'm pretty goddamn sure. And now I am going to pay for whatever. Then I would pay for probably both. I'd probably go back to Lindsay and go, I don't have any more proof than I did before, but I trusted her. You were right. I shouldn't say I was wrong, but something else missed. And then same, like, what I'm saying? Now I'm going to definitely fire and whatever. So again, that's just how I would choose to look at that relationship. But I really, in all my experience of having employees and working with clients, there's not a quick, easy, like, here's the magic answer and everything will be great. But that's how I'd handle it. Hopefully parts of that were of use to you. But the big thing is just to calm everything down, right? The client's going to be like, you're a thief. And you're like, hold on, we don't know any of that. And the employee's going to be like, I'm like, hold on, something's missing. Just be cool. So we're just going to be, people are going to want to lose their head and let a lot of emotion get in the way. We're just going to kind of walk through this like a reasonable person who's just trying to do the right thing.
Oh,
all right.
So good.
There should probably be more, but I feel like I really yapped. So you tell me if you want to do more, we can do more. If not, we can be done.
No, that's all we got for today. And I just want to know, my big takeaway from what you just said was the approach of the calmness and the thinking behind it instead of panicking. Like I just felt so calm when you explained that. And I'm not even in this situation, and just the step back and removing yourself a little bit. I thought that was super helpful. So just wanted to say that that's all we got time for. I'll let you take us out.
In reverse, I also felt calm, but that was mostly your bangs. So if you can have bangs like Lindsay, that will probably help just settle everything down. If not, then do my thing. So those are your options. Get bangs like Lindsay, calm the world, or try what I had. Cleaning Nation, love hanging with you guys. If we've got tons and tons of resources for free. So growmycleaningcompany.com, Instagram, Facebook. Check that out for just hundreds and hundreds of hours of free content. We as a team love helping owners grow and kind of work through some of these problems. And if you're one of the small amount of people that are frustrated by the lack of, like, you keep talking, Mike, and I can't ask any questions, and I need something specific to me, like I need someone to talk with me, feel free to reach out. We'll see if we can't get me or a coach on the phone or something to help you. But if not, check out all the free stuff. We're here for you. Talk soon. Hey, Cleaning Nation, if you dug the content you just got, we don't do any ads and I don't sell anything on this podcast, but if you would just subscribe, rate, and review, it would be huge, and I'd be so appreciative. Not only is it going to help me, but you'll help other owners of cleaning companies across the world work less, make more, and get profitable. So if you appreciate the value we give, again, subscribe, rate, and review. It'd mean the world to me. I'd really appreciate it, and we sure appreciate your time and attention.